Hello, hello, hello. It is our weekly meeting with Teranga Ranch. Welcome. I am so glad that you are here. I am waiting for YouTube to pick up and see that we are here. But today, excuse me, today we are going to be talking about water features in the back or the front yard. So we are going to be talking about buckets. We are going to be talking about ponds. We are going to be talking about swimming pools. So that's what we're going to be talking about. What else was it? No, that's for later. Okay, just making sure I got everything I need here. So for some reason, oh my goodness, I have to go back on YouTube here for a second, so bear with me. Trying to go live, and it's crazy, as you know, trying to go live. Okay, I think it thought I was doing a stream, but I'm not doing a stream. I'm doing a, oh my goodness. Hi guys, I know, you guys are like, what is she doing? What is she doing? She is trying to go live on Facebook at the same time as she is trying to go live on YouTube. And so usually these things work just great. And I'm unable to do this on YouTube tonight, so I'm gonna have to redo it. But that's okay because I'm here with you guys on Facebook and that's good enough. I want to talk about this. So what I'm going to do later is record it and then put it up on YouTube. So for now, tonight, our topic of conversation is water in the area, right? So why would there be water in someone's backyard or their front yard, right? A variety of reasons. So maybe there is a swimming pool, maybe there is a pond, maybe there is a dog water dish, right? And just because that's what we're talking about, I am gonna go grab it. So this is the dog water dish, and this is typical, right? But something this big has water, and wildlife likes to drink water. So one of the main things to know about water in any yard is that it is an attractant for wildlife. So a water dish like this would be great for a raccoon or an opossum or a bobcat or a coyote, right? So if you're trying to encourage wildlife to come, leave water out. If you have a dog in the backyard and you're trying to discourage wildlife from coming, empty the water out at the end of the night and refill it in the morning, right? The other thing about the dog water is that smaller animals can actually drown in there. For anything from like a bee or an insect to like a small lizard. These things have happened, right? We have all borne witness to a situation like that. So I have an idea for you. So bear with me for a moment. Consider this. Consider you have your dog water dish. Consider that you have a rock and you put a rock in that dish and you maybe just keep it off to one side. So now if the water stays at the level of the rock, now if somebody gets stuck in there, they can at least find their way out, right? So that is one way to deal with water situation in the backyard. I also want to talk about, actually, this is similar but different. It's not water. I know, right? I told you I was only talking about water. Well, if you know me at all, you know I'm often telling you whatever I feel like telling you. Haha, no, just kidding. So, buckets, okay? This is another one. And especially in the summer for some reason, right? How many of us have buckets laying around because we've done a home improvement project, right? Or even better, maybe you're like me and you've got the cat litter buckets from 100 years ago, right? But you keep saving them because they are so sturdy and you don't want to throw them away, right? And they're stackable. So, wow, this is like, a dream thing for any person who loves to do projects, right? But how do we usually store them? We usually store them sitting just like this, all stacked, right? Well, how deep is this? If a lizard falls in here, is he going to be able to get out? No. So what I like to do, because of things like water collecting in containers like this, and then being stagnant and being a place where mosquitoes will breed and other stuff will happen that is gross, and you just don't want to have standing water around your property in general. But so you either want to store your buckets on their side, that's fine, or even be crazy and store them upside down. Because A, it will not collect water, and B, it will not be a place where wildlife will go to die, right? Can you imagine being the size of a little lizard and being stuck in here? And, it's a long, slow, terrible, not fun death. Okay, and then same thing with the boxes. I don't know if you you didn't break your boxes down, you break them all down on the day before, you break them down the day before the recycling guy comes and you've got some boxes stacked around, or maybe you keep them for projects and stuff like I do. Same thing. This is deep. Once something gets in here, it's going to be really hard for them to get out, okay? So again, store it on the side or even store it upside down. And if somebody will always tell me, there's a reason why I cannot turn mine over. I got to keep it upright for some reason. That's okay. I have answers for you. Here I go. Turning my back to you again. I know, it's so rude. So, a stick like this, super great tool. If I have these around, if you have any kind of a bush or tree in the yard, or you can, these are just, find a stick and put a stick into your bucket like so. That way, if anything gets in there, it can use the stick as a ladder to get out. So, yes, so, and Bettina is saying also, your babies could fall in and drown, so don't leave them full of water. That's right. You always got to be careful with water. But even if it's an empty container, even if it's dry and it's Southern California and no rain is happening, still store it on the side, store it upside down, or store it with a stick. Okay, and the stick should be relative to the bucket, and I got this smaller bucket to show you, and I got a different stick, right? It's that easy. So if for any reason you have to have any kind of a well, or even if it's, for any reason, and there's all kinds of different reasons why you might have a situation where you've got something deep that something can't get itself out of. And especially in spring and summer, you don't want things dying around, because once you've got little dead lizards, now you've got opossums and raccoons coming for them, right? So it's always something. Anyway, so that is my suggestion, and don't wait until you have to find out the hard way that things die in open buckets. I know, you don't want to find out the hard way. So, what else did I want to cover? Raccoons, right? So if you've got a water feature of any kind, if you're leaving water out in the dog bowl, if you have a pond, if you have a swimming pool, any sort of water, raccoons are going to be there for that. They love water. They love to wash their food in water. They love to play in water. They love water. So know that if you have a water feature, and if you don't want to have raccoons around, having that water feature is going to kind of create a perpetual attraction for them. If the raccoon or any wildlife situation occurs, one of the things I tell people when I go to their house and give them advice is, if there is a water feature, we dry it up for a couple of weeks if we can. Obviously, with a swimming pool, that's really crazy. But sometimes with a fountain or a pond or something that's smaller, people are able to do that to sort of break the habit of whatever wildlife is going there. and then they can sort of start it over again. But whenever you've got water out, it's attracting. And I'm just going to tell you another example of that. I have tortoises that live outside. They sleep outside at night. They are protected in boxes, but I still worry that something like a raccoon could get to them if he knew they were there. So I don't want to draw attention to the fact that these tortoises are sleeping there, right? It's for wildlife. I don't want anybody to sniff that and be like, oh, what's that going to be? I love tortoise dinner. So at night, we dump their water. And then in the morning, we refill their water. So there is no reason for any animal to be hanging out near the tortoise enclosures at all, right? What else? Rock symbols. Okay, we talked about sticks. We talked about, pulling the water in. And the other thing I want to talk about is animals that go in ponds, right? This is one of those things that people don't think through all the way when they're doing it, for obvious reasons. I want a pond. I'm going to put a pond in the backyard. It's going to be awesome. Put some plants in there. Oh, we'll get those really pretty fish. We'll get some koi. That will be great. And it will make our backyard super natural, super beautiful. We're going to be like Descanso Gardens. It's going to rock. Well, and then people do that. And then the raccoons come. And they love koi. And it's not hard for them to catch. Or actually in our area, we're not that far from Hansen Dam, and we have egrets here, and they also love koi. We also have ringtails that will eat koi, raccoons obviously, and I'm not even sure what else, but those are the big players that I know of. So if you are putting in a pond and you want to have koi, you're going to have to think about in advance how you will be protecting them. Will they have an area they can swim to that predators can't get to? Will you be putting hot wire around it? And if you are thinking about doing that, how is that going to affect your other situation in your yard with kids and animals, right? So those are some things to take into consideration. And also along the same lines as the koi is the turtles. A lot of times somebody has a pond and somebody else has a red-eared slider and they're like, oh, I don't want to take care of it anymore. It's gotten big. It needs to be outside. And someone else says, oh, I have a pond. It'll be great. And then the raccoons come. And it's horrifying. It is literally horrifying. So let me save you that painful experience by letting you know that it can happen. And that turtles that are outside in ponds need to be protected. So again, either they're coming in at night or they have a place where they go where predators cannot get to them. But a lot of predators can swim, so I'm not really sure, what your situation would be. Maybe you have an area that you can close off. I don't know, but it will involve some creativity. And just be aware that when you put something alive into a pond, other things that eat live things will come fishing. So you just need to be aware of that in advance. So that's my story. That is literally all I have to say today. I know, right? So I wanted to also let you know that we are usually here on Thursdays at 6 talking about one topic or another and here for questions and, discussion. And usually we're simultaneously on YouTube. Because usually I don't have a problem like I did tonight. I still don't know what happened. And we also do a kids program weekly on Tuesdays at 3. So next week we are not going to be doing this program here because we're just taking a little break. Although we will be doing our Tuesday program for kids. And so next Tuesday we're going to be reading Insects Are My Life and talking about that a little bit and talking about people who have interests outside of the general universe of interests. So it's kind of a fun book. And then we'll be skipping Thursday, but the following Thursday, we're going to be talking about how to encourage or attract or create a wildlife-friendly yard. I know. Did I just say create a wildlife-friendly yard? Me, the person who's always telling you how to keep wildlife out of your yard? I know. well, I decided I'm going to be wild, I'm going to be crazy, I'm going to live on the edge. And so a week from next Thursday, which is August 6th, we will be talking about a wildlife and pollinator friendly yard. So that will be fun. Invite your friends. We have the event on Facebook. If you want a reminder before we start, go ahead and say you're interested in it, and then when I post in there, you'll get it. And then also, usually in these events on Facebook, I share the link to the YouTube video that is recorded of this little presentation or talk or whatever you want to call it. So that is my story. Oh, and I almost forgot to remind you. See, I wore my awesome shirt and my super cool star earrings today because I wanted to remind everyone that I ran into or came into contact with that if you get the chance to get outside at night in the dark, if you live near the mountains, drive up there and have a look at the comet because it is super cool. It is a once in a lifetime thing to do. All you need is, you can see it with the naked eye, at least in the San Gabriel's here in the Angeles National Forest. Depending on where you are, it's out near the Big Dipper, so that's where you will find it. It's super awesome. I totally recommend trying to get out there to see it while you can. So that is my story. Oh, what did Denise say? She said, small mesh chicken wire can trap lizards when they try to run through and get stuck. That is true. And that garden netting also, I cannot tell you how many snakes I have seen or heard of or personally been involved with that get all wrapped up in that garden netting. So garden netting can be really bad. The mesh, you just have to be careful how you're storing that stuff and where it is because, yeah, wildlife will always find it. Anyway, thank you guys for jumping into the conversation today, and thank you for taking a minute to join us. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope that your summer is going as well as is possible given the times. So take care, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody.